right. Shalom, shalom. Back out here again, with another lesson real quick. First of all, we're going to face the east and to give all praise on the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Kadash. All praise and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who brought out this truth many, many years ago and still to this day preaching this truth. I want to say shalom to all the true believers, the men and the women that's learning, teaching, and seeking the Lord that will all sincerity, due diligence. I want to say to all shalom. Just back with another lesson real quick. And today's lesson, man, is pretty much going to be about pretty much going into the straight gate and going through that straight gate and how we going to have an ultimate tour guide. It's kind of like going through a safari. You know what I'm saying? When you go through a safari and over there in Africa or in the Amazon, and you have a tour guide who's done that route and followed that that path millions and millions of times, and they give you instructions and teach you how to do it. And that's who we have. We have Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai would be our ultimate tour guide. You know what I'm saying? He would be that light that would shine so we can see on that path that we walk. His word is giving us the instructions of what to do and what not to do. Right? If that makes sense. I'm trying to hopefully it's making sense. So for example, when you go on a tour on a safari, they give you instructions before you even start the path. All right, hey, don't go this way because it might be a lion over here. Don't go off the path because it might be a venomous snake. It might be a tiger. It might be some type of thing, some type of danger if you narrow off that path and don't listen to their instructions. And that's similar to following that straight gate. Because like I said, there's fire on one side and there's water on the other. And it's a straight and narrow path that you got to follow. You know what I'm saying? And if you go off that path from the word of Yahweh Shai, it's going to lead to your death or demise because, how they said, death around every corner. Right, so if it's death around every corner, you got Esau trying to, promote you with all these distractions, trying to jab you up with all these different, vaccinations and all this BS. You got your own people around the corner trying to kill you. You know what I'm saying? You got it might be a group of dogs around the corner that might eat your ass alive. I got the LGBTQ around the corner trying to promote you to come with them. Church on every corner, liquor store on every corner. If you go off that path of the word of Yahweh Shai, you know what I'm saying, it's going to lead to death. And that's pretty much how it is in the Amazon also too with Yahweh Shai. See, Yahweh Shai is our ultimate tour guide. He is that light that provides us to be able to see through the bullshit when we're following down that path, right? Through that straight gate. So let's get into it. We're going to start at the book of Matthew. Hopefully that made sense. So we can start at the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 13 through 14. It says, "Enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat." It says, "Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." So we're gonna look up this word straight in the Google definition. And straight means difficulty. It says, used in reference to a situation characterized by a specified degree of trouble or difficulty. Like the economy. The economy right now is in dire straits. Right, because it's going down, man. It's dangerous. It's a difficult situation right now, right? Because the American dollar's crashing, wars and rumors of wars, all these famines and pestilence, right? Let's continue on the word straight. It says a difficult situation. It says a sorry condition, which is America. The economy right now is in a sorry condition, difficulty, trouble, crisis. America right now is in a crisis, a mess, a predicament, a tight corner. A pretty fine kettle, no, that ain't it. Hot water, deep water, a jam. And see, that's pretty much what it is right now, man. So that straight gate isn't for the faint-hearted. Because the straight gate, it's not someone who, it's not meant to have fun, man. Because at the end of the day, we're here for a punishment. So if we're here for a punishment, that means that our lives here on this earth, for us to be humble, is not for us to enjoy ourselves, for the most part. You see, so when they talk about the broad way is the path that the 2/3 take. The 2/3 is going to take that broad way because it's easy, right? It's fun. It looks appealing. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that the broad way is a highway to hell, man. Right? And see, but that straight and narrow gate, as it says, because the straight gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life. See, so that straight gate leads to life, but once you go on that broad way, or you steer off the path of Yahweh Shai, it's nothing but leading to death and destruction in your judgment. Right? Because Esau, he has so many different things to distract us, man, and to go off that path. You know, everything is sexualized nowadays. Like I said, you got LGBTQ on every corner. You got a pastor on every corner trying to recruit you. You got, not even bold enough, got Christians and Jehovah's Witnesses coming to your doors. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different ways to go off that path. You know what I'm saying? Put all these actors and entertainers in front of you thinking they somebody. These social media influencers. You know, but in our reality, all that leads to death and destruction, man. And even while some people in this truth, who knows Yahweh Shai, who knows who they are in the truth, but yet still want to call on Jesus Christ. Right? But see, that's why having that light and following Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is the only way that leads into life. Because Esau, while he promotes nothing but death, Yahweh Shai leads nothing to life, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only way you can enter to the heavens, man. It's going through that straight gate. Yeah, it's a difficult path, but it's a beautiful reward at the end. And just like the wicked, if they go out that path, they get a terrible reward, which would be the nuclear missiles, a harsh judgment. You know, coming in through the kingdom through another man's nutsack, childbearing, right? You know, like I said, and it's hard for people to follow that straight and narrow gate because they love sin. They love what Esau's putting in front of them. You know what I mean? Right? So let's see right here. Let's go to Psalms chapter 119 and 105. And it says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Right? So who is that light? Let's prove that real quick. Let's go to John. Right here. Chapter... Oh, wrong one. It's lucky. Let's go to John chapter 8, verse 12 through verse 12 out of the KJV. And it says, then Yahweh Shai spake again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. And what word is he talking about? He's not talking to the whole world. He's talking about the word of Israel. Because he only came back for the lost sheep, the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness. Right? And if you read the book of Job, you know, that's America pretty much. The land of the shadow of the valley of the death. A place without any order. And that's a lot of the 2/3. They really go off that path. You know what I'm saying? They're going off that path and damn, she threw me off. They're revealing off that path, and you know, because the path is all oh shit, Salaki. They're revealing off that path because they don't have this true knowledge, wisdom, understanding. They don't have that light, right? So the 2/3 is going off the path of the narrow gate because, like I said, it looks easy to them. You know what I'm saying? It looks fun to them. Everybody else, oh, he's doing it, so I'm gonna go do it too. You know, monkey see, monkey do as people, sheeple, right? And see, if you look at this word light in the Google definition. Matter of fact, we ain't gonna look at it in the Google definition. We're gonna look at the Blue Letter Bible, Salaki. John chapter 8, verse 12. I should have had it pulled up. John chapter 8, verse 12. We're gonna look up this word light. And it says, embedded by a lamp, a heavenly light such as surrounds angels with their appear on earth. Anything emitting light, a star. But now right there, we're gonna go down. We're gonna go to 2a. It says, God is light because light has extremely delicate, subtle, pure, brilliant quality. But we're gonna look at the letter B. It says, light of truth and its knowledge, together with the spiritual purity associated with it. Right? So that light that Yahweh Shai brings is the light of truth, the light of knowledge, which is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And the reason we're able to see that light and now we're off that path is because we have this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is given to us through the Holy Spirit by Yahweh Shai. Right? So we can deteriorate through the bullshit. So while we're going on our path, you know what I'm saying, we listen to the ultimate tour guide, which is Yahweh Shai. He's giving us the instructions, which is his word. Right? Because what does the Bible stand for? Basic instructions before leaving earth. Right? Now we're going to Google definition of word light. And we're going to see that real quick. It's lucky. We're going to look that up. We're going to go all the way down here. It says illumination. It says understanding, comprehension, insight, awareness. You know, so see, we're having this light. We are aware what the hell is going on that path, man. We are aware of what will happen if we view off that path. Yahweh Shai. We are aware of the judgments and the law, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh Shai has gave us, man. Right? Right here. Let's go to another one. Awareness, knowledge, clarification, edification. See, that's all of Yahweh Shai. He is that light. It says expert, authority, master, leader, guru. Yahweh Shai already took this path, right? So him, right now, he's giving us the instructions to do the same thing he did. That's why we're going to be more and more like Yahawashi Shah each day. We got to be more like him each day, man. We got to follow the same path he followed. He did the hard part, you know what I'm saying, because he took the blunt force trauma. And now we only got to go through that short gate for a light affliction. Right, so let's continue. Again, it says authority, master, leader, guru, leading light, guiding light, big name. See, that's all Yahawashi Shah. It says intelligence, intellect, knowledge, understanding. You see that? So the light has many different definitions to it. Let's see, and that's Yahawashi Shah. So again, let's read that. Who is that light? Who is that light unto our feet? A lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. That's Yahawashi Shah. Again, John chapter 8, verse 12, and it says, then spake again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me should not walk in darkness. So we're not walking in darkness anymore because we follow that path through Yahawashi Shah. We can see through the bullshit. We know how to maneuver. Right? So Yahawashi Shah, he is truth. You know, his laws, his commandments, everything that he gives us is true, man. The laws is perfect. The judgments, everything that he presents to us is true, and it's going to help guide us and keep us on that straight path so we won't go off. Right? Anything outside of that, it leads to death. Anything outside of that is anti-Messiah, which is going to lead to death. Right here, we're going to go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, he also, because he transgressed about wide, he is a proud man. Who is that proud man? That's Esau, the so-called white man. The one who tries to veer us off of that path, that put all these distractions and put all these, and Yahawashi allows us to put all these roadblocks in front of our path. Right? Never keep it at home. He enlarges his desire as hell. And here's the point, and is as death. You know, because like I said, while Yahawashi promotes life through the knowledge, wisdom, understanding in that light, Esau's promoting nothing but death, man. You know, everything he puts in front of us is set up for us to fail. You know, like I said, everything is sexualized. You know what I'm saying? You can say the N-word all day on social media, but as soon as you get to talk about the LGBTQ, as soon as you start saying that we are the real Jews and the small hats are the fake Jews, you know, we get canceled or our channels get blocked off. You know, we get to speaking the truth about the Bible. You know, they do everything they can to take it out. Right? Even the food and the water. The food is not only poison, but it also destroys our immune system, destroys our thinking capacity, you know, destroys our awareness, destroys our light. You know, even with the water we drink, the air we breathe, all that is meant to destroy us. You know, even with these jabs that they present to us, man. You know, those are meant to destroy our immune system, destroy our insides, destroy our pineal gland and the way we think and the way we carry ourselves. It's been proven that a lot of these jabs that they give these children, you know, brings upon ADHD, autism, depression, even these pharmaceuticals. Right now I'm standing across the street in front of a Walgreens pharmacy, and I'm standing in front of a CVS pharmacy. There's two on each corner. And you know, if you go into the definition of like witchcraft, it'll be considered medicine, and it goes in like pharmakia, which is where the word pharmacy and pharmaceutical comes from, right? Because the pills that the things and all the drugs that they give you, if you notice, if you read on the back of that bottle, if you read on in the fine print, it says, warning, it helps with this, but may cause depression, may cause dizziness, you know, may be lightheaded, may cause ADHD, and all these different things, right? So all that is set up to destroy you and rear you off that path, and rear you off that path and make you follow all the ways of everybody else and be distracted, right? So let's continue on 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. It says, but you are not like that. See, we are not like that because we follow the words of Yahawashi Shah. We have that knowledge, wisdom, understanding, so we're going to follow that straight and narrow gate. Yeah, we getting afflicted, but we know there's a reward at the end. Immortality, forever, that everlasting salvation, right? But again, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9 NLT, but you are not like that. See that we are not like that because, like I said, we chose Yahawashi. You are a chosen people. You are a royal priest, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for he called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. So we are an example of everybody else to follow, and that's how we're going to be in the kingdom as well. See, right now, the 2/3, they too busy, you know, living their best life down here, living that YOLO life. You know what I'm saying? Doing anything they want, thinking how they feel, saying anything, preaching anything. Oh, you know, you got, like I said, people still in this truth, but calling on Jesus Christ. You got people still in this truth, you know what I'm saying? but still telling you that the mark of the beast is not the offering be microchip. The mark of the beast is sleeping with a white woman. You know, the mark of the beast is sin. You know, like I said all the time, how the fuck can you buy, sell, or trade with sin, man? It's impossible, right? So let's continue. So the 2/3, you know, they don't have that light. They steady walking in darkness, groping in noonday. And I got that precept later on down the line. So, you know, and the 2/3 as well, they spiritually discern. They're not worried about trying to seek the Lord. They're not worried about trying to meditate on the scriptures, not trying to prepare themselves for what's about to come. You know, because right now, you know, everything is low. Is not at a how can I say it? It's only the beginning of sorrows. That's what I can say. It's only the beginning. You know, ice kicking indoors. They doing a little bit here and there, but eventually these things gonna ramp up. You got a little, how can I say it? You got little famines and diseases going on right now, but eventually everything is gonna ramp up. You know, death at, you know, right, one day you're gonna wake up, there's gonna be dead bodies on your front door. You're gonna be walking over dead bodies. You know, it's gonna be like a third world country out here, man. So everything, nothing is like ramped up yet, right? So right now, the 2/3 are literally the walking dead because they don't have that light. They don't have that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Not literally zombies, but similar to zombies because one, they're brain dead because they don't have this understanding. They don't have that light. You know how they say, hey, lights on, but no one's home? That's the 2/3, man. Or they say, what is it? Hey, lights on, anyone home? Or something like that. That's the 2/3, man. They don't have that light. They don't possess this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Right? So they out here like zombies. Just walking around, like I said, doing anything, preaching anything, believing in anything that Esau puts in front of them. You know, believing in aliens, believing in UFOs, which UFOs are real, but not knowing they really think it's true aliens like monsters. In our reality, it's the truth. It's the angels of the Lord, man. Those are chariots of the Lord. Right? They don't recognize who they are. They don't recognize where they come from. Let alone they don't recognize who the enemy is. The whole time they hold hands with the enemy, clinging on Esau, even the so-called white man, who is the number one enemy, public enemy number one. Right? And the Lord is gonna make a perfect, fine example of this man and put this man in tear him down with his missiles, tear down this wicked ass economy that's in his straits. Right? And then after that, the ones who survive is gonna be put into captivity. Right? So let's continue. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14 out of the KJV. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God. Right? The natural man can't see this light. They can't see the things through the Spirit of the Lord. But they are foolishness to him. So the things that we speak are foolishness to the 2/3. You know, we speaking of chariots, us getting beamed up by the chariots of the Lord. That's foolishness to them. Us having their daddy, their slave master Esau, even the so-called white man in chains. That's foolishness to them. Right? It continually says, neither can he know them. They can't know them. Why? It says because they are spiritually discerned. Right? They don't have that understanding. They don't recognize the promises. They don't recognize the laws. They don't recognize who they are, let alone recognize of the true power and the true light, Yahweh Shai, man. Right? They have no order. They don't know where to turn to. They don't know where to go. You know what I'm saying? While we turn to Yahweh Shai and we cope with Yahweh Shai, when we go through our hard times, when we go through our afflictions, they want to cope with drugs. They want to cope with sleeping with another man's wife or trying to be seen, trying to be a man of high value, trying to be a man of high stature. In our reality, all that leads to death, man. All that leads to the path of destruction. That's you ran off your path. You going down your path, you get stuck in that hole, you can't get yourself out. Unless you turn to Yahweh Shai. Right? So again, now let's look up this word discerned and the Google definition. It says, perceive or recognize something. And that's a 2/3. They can't perceive or recognize this light that Yahweh Shai has given us. You know, this light ain't for everybody. The Lord, most of the time, want to keep these people down because they're too wicked. They don't want to turn back. The Lord knew if he gave them the light, they wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it. The ones that did so-called have the light and now took that bag, the Lord only gave them that light so they can be a stumbling block. Right? But the 2/3, some of these motherfuckers ain't gonna have the light at all. How you doing? Just so he can destroy these people, man. Right? Let's look up some more. It says, distinguish someone or something with difficulty by sight or with other senses. So, see that? The 2/3 are spiritually discerned because they don't have the awareness. They don't have the sight. You know, they don't have the senses that we have to jump through these hurdles that's on that path, man. You know, they don't have the sense of discernment to know not to stay off that path and follow the enemy. You know what I'm saying? So the 2/3 is completely going off. Like I said, believing whatever they want, saying whatever they want, doing whatever they want. So that's why they're going to get destroyed by them nuclear missiles. And also, too, like I said, they're not coming to the kingdom through childbearing. And when they do go in the kingdom, they're going to go through a period of being ashamed because they're going to remember that they were the ones that didn't believe in Yahweh Shai. They're going to remember that they were the ones that helped crucify Yahweh Shai. Right? We'll continue if there's more. Even right here, separate. This apart. I say centre to separate. See that? In the Latin. So they are spiritually discerned. They are separated from us, man. Why? Because we have the light and they don't. We're not groping in new darkness because we have that light to see on the path of Yahweh Shai. We know that Yahweh Shai is the lamp unto our feet and the light unto our path, man. And we know we won't be able to see, and we know we ain't shit without Yahweh Shai. Right? So let's continue. Already did that. So like I said, they can't understand the things that we speak. They're not aware of Yahweh Shai and His truth. Now we're going to go to Psalms 43:3, and it says out of NLT, send out your light and your truth. Let them guide me. See that? That goes back to me saying earlier that Yahweh Shai is the ultimate guide. Just like I said, when you go through a safari, you know what I'm saying, you have a tour guide. You know, he's giving you instructions. Hey, don't go off this path, do this, keep your hands in the car. You know what I'm saying? Stay by me, stay close to me, don't go off this path. You know, it's a lion over there, gorilla over there. It's a venomous snake over there. Poisonous spiders, poisonous frogs. Same thing with Yahweh Shai. Hey, don't go over that way. It's nothing but death and destruction. Your enemy is over there, right? LGBTQ is over there. They're trying to recruit you. You know, it's a church over there, the whorehouse over there. It's a drug house over there. Hey, it's one of your people over there trying to kill you. Hey, the police around the corner. All these wicked different things, you know, to set up and distract you, right? So again, let's continue on that. Lord, when it is edifying. Again, Psalms 43:3 NLT, send out your light and your truth, which Yahweh Shai, send it out. Let them guide me. Let them lead me to your holy mountain. See that? Which is the kingdom of heaven, man. To the place where you live. Right? So we're going to look up this word light again in Psalms 43:3. Go look at that word light in the blue letter Bible. Woo. Right here it says, again, light of lamp, light of life, light of prosperity, light of instruction. And that's the point. Basic instructions before leaving earth, man. That's what Yahweh Shai's word is, man. Basic instructions before leaving earth. He's showing us how to live, giving us structure, giving us order, teaching us how to pray, how to repent, how to carry yourself as a man, how to conduct yourself as a man of the Lord. He's giving us the way. He's giving us the instruction. And the only ones who's going to receive it and going to actually do it is the ones who have this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, who has that light. So we're able to see through the bullshit. You know, we can hurdle, jump over the afflictions. We can do a spin move. We can stiff arm. You know what I'm saying? We can go through our afflictions knowing that we're going to make it out because we know it's all a chastisement. We know it's all a challenge. Because like I said, when I read the straight, it's a difficult path. Nothing comes easy because we're not here to celebrate. You know, we're not here to have fun. We're not here for an enjoyment. Yeah, the Lord does allow us to have a little bit of enjoyment here and there. But in our reality, we're here supposed to be bringing out this word, prophesying against this wicked-ass kingdom. You know, repenting unto Yahweh Shai, constantly seeking Him, constantly trying to better ourselves. What's that word? Constantly trying to, it's a word I'm looking for. Doggone it. What is it? Constantly trying to examine ourselves. Thank you, Lord. Just constantly trying to examine ourselves, man. That's what we're doing, right? Because we have that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So again, even it says light of life. See that? Yahweh Shai leads to life through this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, having that light. Light of prosperity. Everything we do in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be able to prosper. Everything we touch, anything we think, everything is going to become prosperous. We're going to have an abundance of knowledge and wisdom, an abundance of knowledge, abundance of information, an abundance of unlimited amounts of resources. And again, it says light of instruction, that's Yahweh Shai. And then right here, it says, in the case, it says Jehovah as Israel's light. You see that, but it's not Jehovah, it's Yahweh Shai as Israel's light. So it's only for us to have that light. Not these two nations. That's a cut too. Not these nations. They don't have that light. They weren't given the law, statutes, and commandments. They weren't given this light. You know, they were given this wicked ass kingdom down here to prosper right now down here. Because in the kingdom of heaven, they will not be able to prosper like how we prosper. The roles is going to be reversed, right? And then after 1,000 years of going to slavery, then they're going to be able to reap some of the benefits, but not compared to the Israelites, the Lord's chosen people. Right, so let's go back. Again, Psalms 43:3, NLT, send out your light and your truth. Let them guide me, Yahweh. Lead them, it says, let them lead me to your holy mountain, to the place where you live. And again, light of instruction, light of light, light of prosperity. And as I'm saying, that's Yahweh showing us the way, how to be a man, how to have structure, how to receive salvation, how to have order. Because as I said in the book of Job, this is the land without order, the land of darkness, the land without any light. Nothing but sin and wickedness is possessed here in this land, right? So Yahweh is making the way for us to follow that straight gate, right? And again, we're going to grab it again. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. Now this time on NLT. You can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. And that narrow gate is the straight gate, the difficult path. The highway to hell is broad, see? The highway to hell is broad. Everybody's going down that path. Everybody want to go have fun. I remember back in the day as a kid, people would say, hey, would you jump off a bridge? Or would you want to go to hell? And our dumb ass would say, yeah, if my friends going there, it'll be fun. See, we was ignorant. We didn't have that light. We didn't have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We was still wet behind the ears. We was babies, man. Right? And see, now that we have that light, hell no, we don't want to go down that path. Because we know the judgments. We know the king of terrors, which is Yahweh. We know what he possesses and how dangerous it can get for us. We don't want to be out here fucked up. Like these 2/3 niggas walking around here talking to themselves, snot running down their nose, bugged out, drugged out. Ain't no way in hell we want to be like that, man. Right? So let's continue. It says the highway to hell is broad and the gate is wide for many of those to choose that way. So the Lord is giving them the easy way out. He knows they don't want to follow it. He said, I know you ain't going to choose me, so I'm going to give you the easy way out. Go ahead and go where everybody else is going. But the gateway to life is very narrow and road is difficult, and only a few will ever find it, man. Only a few will ever find it, which is only the elect, the one who possesses this knowledge, wisdom, understanding. The true followers of Yahweh Shah. Only a few will ever find it. That's that small remnant, right? And it's difficult. The Lord not looking for no man who's going to fold quick. Motherfuckers get rebuked, get their heads cut off, get rebuked, you know what I'm saying? Get kicked out of camps and then think that means stop teaching and think that means stop, stop following the Lord. Hell no, man. That means go even harder. If you get rebuked, that means correct yourself and go harder than you ever went before, right? If you get kicked out of camp, that means, hey, the Lord just tested you, man, to see how battle tested you are. The Lord ain't looking for no bitch ass nigga. He also ain't looking for the most athletic, the man with the strongest arms, the man who's the biggest, who's the buffest, who got the most money, who got the most followers in the church. The Lord ain't looking for those things, man. The Lord is looking for the man or the person who can endure the most, right? Who's gonna stay with me all the way to the end, man? No, I'm right here. You good? You good? Now let's continue. Right here, we're gonna go now. We at the book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach, chapter 2 through 5. And it says, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 1, it says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble. So when you're going through those time of troubles, and you go through those afflictions, the Lord is telling you, don't make haste. There's a reward at the end. There's a reason I'm doing this, right? It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure. So we got to keep constantly enduring. Keep fighting out, keep going through persecution. Keep fighting. The Lord is, like I said, he's looking who's going to be battle tested and who's not. Hey, even though I take all of this away from you, are you still going to choose me? Even though I take all of this away from you, are you still going to pray to me? Are you still going to praise me through the good and the bad? Right? So, hey, man, that's what it all's about. And let's look at this word temptation in the Blue Letter Bible. It ain't Blue Letter Bible. Look at this word temptation. Yeah, you can't look it up in the Blue Letter Bible. It's locked. Right here, it says desire, urge, itch. It's a temptation. It's an itch to go out there. It's an inch to go out that narrow gate. And that's why the Lord setting up Esau, not only to show how not to be, but also to be a whooping stick to the nation of Israel. You know, so they put everything, all these sexual desires, the lustful desires, as I say, everything is sexualized. Got prostitutes on the corner, easy to go off. You know, got a church on every corner, easy to go off. Say you want to go on a diet and eat right. You know, easy to go off because it's fast food on every damn corner, right? Let's continue. Impulse, it says to lure, enticement, seduction, attraction, draw, pull, bait. See, that's all the Lord is setting up Esau to do. Baiting us into going off on that narrow path. You know what I'm saying? See how battle tested we can be. Seeing how strong is our discipline. See that? And coming into the truth, you got to have a strong amount of discipline as well. Because as I said, all the Lord has set up Satan to do is to seduce you. It's to give you a different attraction, an easy way out. To draw you in, to pull you in, to bait you in. Decoy, snare, trap, siren. Attraction, attractiveness. See that? But that's the Google definition. But if you look up the definition of temptation in the Blue Letter Bible, it says trial, test. That's all it is. It's all a test to see how battle tested you are. Again, seeing if I take everything away from you, are you still going to praise my holy name? Are you still going to go out there and do the work? Hey, live a testimony myself. The Lord snatched everything away from my ass. Everything. And Lord knows, when my ass moved to Texas for that hot minute, when I was in Texas, Lord knows I was depressed. Like a motherfucker. But I still was able to do the work. Yeah, my spirit wasn't all the way right when I was down there because I was going through it. I had to get my mind right, had to grow the fuck up. You know, hey, my cousin told me about myself a few times, even that brother Hope. Hey, I still got a lot of growing to do, even still to this day. But that's what comes into growth, man. Because when you growing up, you know, you're able to take accountability. You know, you're able to look in the mirror and realize that sometimes the problem is that man you see in the mirror, right? You able to tell yourself, hey, I need to be more disciplined. You need to apply more wisdom to your everyday walk. You need to apply more discipline to your everyday walk, right? So hey, the Lord is saying, man, hey, if I put you through this test, you know, hey, man, are you still going? If I take everything away from you, similar to Job, if I take everything away from you, are you still gonna praise me? He did the same thing with Joseph. Through Joseph, Joseph got sold to the I think the Egyptians, and he was in prison for like 2 or 3 years. Still praising the Lord, still have faith in the Lord, still have trust in the Lord. And everybody else that got tested in the Bible, in the scriptures. All right, same with us, we ain't no different. Right? So let's continue. Again, it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make thy haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him, depart not away, that thou mayest be increased by the last end. So when you go through these, you know, afflictions, and you're going through your temptations, your trial, or your test, hey man, go harder for the Lord, man. Go harder for the Lord. Don't fold, don't give up, don't not fight, but go hard for the Lord, man. So you can be increased at the last end. And what's that last end? Us getting beaten up by those chariots, man. Praying that the Lord won't throw us in that lake of fire or get us destroyed by them nukes. Verse 4, it says, whosoever is brought upon thee, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient with our change to a low state. So when you're going through your afflictions, hey man, take that cheerfully. Hey, just know that the Lord is dealing. Because if anything, if the Lord was just giving you stuff and you weren't going through anything, your life was just so great and everything was so easy, hey, the Lord ain't dealing with that shit, man. Right? Because the Lord is giving you all those different things and all your heart's desire to destroy you. Right? So whenever the Lord is giving you and putting you through those afflictions, man, hey, take them cheerfully. Be grateful that the Lord is dealing with you. Because that means he's chastised. Just like we chastise our kids, the Lord chastises us. He put us through our test and affliction as well. Right? And again, the Lord says, be patient with our change to a low state. So we're going through our humble phase, be patient. That's right here, right now. Right now, we're going through our humble phase. Right now, we change to a low state. Because in our reality, we are gods. We are of a high stature. We are valued. We are precious, lively stones. We are high priests. Right? We are prophets. We are great teachers. We are everything of high value to the Lord, the apple of his eye. But right now, we change to a low state. So the Lord is telling us to be patient. It says, for gold is tried in the fire, an acceptable man in the furnace of adversity. So just like in order for gold to be purified and come out shiny, the same thing with us. We are the Lord's special treasures, the same thing. We got to go through the fire of adversity just so we can come out purified. Because when we get those new bodies, we're going to be shining, man. We're going to be shining like new money. Right? Our minds going to be different. Our spirit's going to be different. Our body's going to be different. We're going to be immortal, thinking different, moving different. Everything is going to be embedded in us. Right? So, hey man, the Lord is great, man. The Lord is awesome, and we got to thank the Wadi Abba Shah for this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Now we at the book of 2nd Hedges, chapter 8, verse 62, proving that everybody wasn't given this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and proving that this light was given to everyone. 2nd Hedges, chapter 8, verse 62, these things have I not showed unto all men, but unto thee and a few like thee. You see that? So the Lord hasn't showed this to everybody. He's only showed it to his elect, the ones he knew was going to do right with it, the ones he knew that was going to go through the afflictions and keep following them, right? And we are those ones, man. Lord willing, I'm part of that number. The ones that turn back and constantly seeking and enduring and constantly praising and worshiping Yahweh Shah. Right here, Job 5:14 on NLT. They find it dark in the daytime and they grope at noonday as if it were night. Who is that? That's the 2/3. They're grouping in the noonday. They don't have that light. They don't possess this knowledge, wisdom, understanding. They're looking for a way out, right? They're looking for their purpose, right? And they can't find it. Why? Because they don't possess that light. They don't possess that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? And that's the 2/3. Like I said, they can't find that path. Why? Yet their path leads to destruction. Our path leads to life. They're confused. They're lost. You know, they stuck with that Babylon juice. You know, drinking out of that cup of Esau, believing all his lies and philosophies, everything he puts in front of us, all his different distractions to lure us in. You know what I'm saying? So now, with us having this light, like I said, we can see through the bullshit. We can jump those hurdles. We can hit that spin move. We can hit that stiff arm, right? Let's continue. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 28 through 29 out of KJV, that said, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And that's the 2/3, man. They are smited by blindness. They are blinded by the things of this world. They are blinded by the riches. They are blinded by how the heathens and how these other nations are living, and they're trying to live just like them, losing themselves trying to get rich. Just so when they die, it goes to another man, or it goes to their kids. They can't take it with them, but they're blinded, man. They're losing themselves trying to find themselves, right? And it says, right here, again, same thing, and thou shalt grope at noonday, as blind as gropest in the darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, man. And that's one of the curses that's placed upon us. But us having this light, we still cursed, and we still to a certain degree groping at noonday. Not necessarily because we have the light, but we still go through our afflictions and the curses. But the 2/3 are completely, ultimately destroyed. Like I said, the fact that we have this true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, we have Yahweh Shah. You know, like I said, we can decipher through the bullshit. We know what's going on, man. You know what I'm saying? We know how to handle it. But in reality, 2/3, they're blind. They don't know what to do with it. Which is why the Lord didn't give it to them. Oh, my hand's cold as hell. Right here, dark side way, they shall not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. See that that's part of the curses. Again, now let's go to Psalm 73 and 22 in our NLT. 22 to 25, and it says, out of NLT, I was foolish and arrogant, ignorant. I must have seemed like a senseless animal to you. You see that? That's us speaking to the Lord before we came into this truth, having knowledge and understanding. Because the Lord is looking at the 2/3 of the other nations as brute beasts. Because they out here doing what they want. They're not following the laws and commandments. They're living how they want to live, eating what they want to eat, doing what they want to do, saying, praying to whoever they want to pray to. And this was us speaking before we came into this truth. I was foolish and ignorant because we did not know. I must have seemed like a senseless animal to you. Yet I belong to you. You hold my right hand. That's Yahweh Shah. How you holding that right hand? By walking with us and giving us that light and this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You guide me with your counsel. See that? Trusting in your Lord, trusting in his word, trusting in his light. Leading me to your grace's destiny. What is that destiny? The kingdom of heaven. That eternal salvation. The immortality. Who I have in heaven but you. I desire you more than anything on earth. So we only desire this light and this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We don't desire the things of this world. We don't desire trying to be like the heathen. We're not jealous of the heathen. We're not jealous of none of their ways because we know their ways are going off. We're not jealous of how the 2/3 can party and live it up because we know that their reward at the end is death and destruction. We want to stay on that straight gate, that straight and difficult path because we know it's a reward at the end, a righteous reward at the end. We're going to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shah. We're going to have kingdom. We're going to have a kingdom full of slaves. Our slaves going to have slaves. Our children going to have slaves. Right? Immortality. You know what I'm saying? unlimited amounts of information, abundance of everything that we touch, everything we think is going to be able to prosper. Again, being joint heirs with Yahweh, ruling over nations, ruling over cities, every other nation bowing down at our feet, right? Having the things that we want and having the things that our heart desire, because we followed that straight path and we did it with Yahweh. So we know there's a reward at the end, so we ain't going off. We're not worried about what nobody else is doing. We're only worried about what Yahweh thinks of us and what we're supposed to do to please him, right? And let me see if I have some more real quick. Right here, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. It says, out of NLT, and it's for our present troubles are small and won't last very long, yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. You see that? So we know that our affliction, our troubles are small compared to Yahweh. He took that blunt force trauma. He literally got crucified, literally got embarrassed, spit upon, beaten, damn near to death, hung on a cross, embarrassed, humiliated. But what did he come out in? He came out on top and sat as the Lord right-hand man and sat on his right-hand side. And Yahweh is giving us that same walk. He's giving us the instructions on how to do it. He's giving us the light to see through the bullshit, to navigate through our path. And so we can be the same as him, come out on top like him, being joint heirs with Yahweh. Right? It says, for our present troubles are small and won't last very long. Yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. And what's that? That's the kingdom of heaven. That's the everlasting salvation. Right? Everything we have everything going on right now is temporary. 2/3 can't see that shit, man. They can't see that this place is temporary. This their only hope is making it in this wicked ass kingdom. Our hope is in Yahweh and in the kingdom of heaven. Their hope is in the kingdom of Esau and just living and dying in this world and being nothing. They can't see beyond their front yards. We can see through the bullshit. We can see the future. We looking ahead, man. We not looking back. Like Lot's wife. Lot's wife looked back, and that bitch got turned to a pillar of salt. It's gonna be the same thing with you 2/3. Y'all keep looking back. Y'all keep worried about this place. Y'all gonna get evaporated to dust with them nuclear missiles and with them chariots of the Lord. We're gonna grab this real quick again, still at 2 Hedges chapter 7, verse 1. And when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which have been sent unto me the night before. And he said unto me, Up, Edris, and hear the word that I had come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my power. Then he said unto me, The sea is set at a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case in the entrance were narrow like a river. See, just like Matthew 7:13. Narrow and straight entrance is like a narrow river. It's like that straight gate. 2 Hedges, verse 7 and 5. Who then could go into the sea and look upon it and rule it? That sea is the nations and the kindred of tongues and the Israelites. We are about to rule it. Right? The elect, because we followed that straight gate. Psalms 2 and 8, and it says, Ask me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. So we are going to rule over these nations. We are going to rule over that sea, these kindreds, nations, and tongues. Right? Let's continue on 2 Hedges, verse 7 and 6. It says, if he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? 2 Hedges, verse 7 and 6. There's also another thing. A city is builded, which is the kingdom of heaven, and set upon a broad field, and it's full of all good things. 2 Hedges 7 and 7. The entrance thereof is narrow and set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. What's up? And this 2 Hedges 7 and 8, and it says, and the only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that let's read that again, verse 7 and 8. 2 Hedges chapter 7, verse 8, and it says, and only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man be there at once. You see that? So when you're going in this walk, that's why the scripture says, figure out your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? Because this is your own personal walk. You can't hold hands with another man's or going off another man's work by going down that path, right? Let's go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. Wherever, my beloved, as ye are always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but how much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You see that? So when we going through our walk, we can't hold hands going through our walk, man. We can't walk side to side with somebody, not our wife, not our children. Everybody have their own walk and their own purpose in this truth. Right? So when you're going through that straight and narrow path, you got to take that walk alone. Everybody got their own set of afflictions, their own set of judgments. Everybody plays their own part in the movie. You know, similar to my wife, man. One of my afflictions right now, yeah, I have my family and everything back. The Lord gave me everything back. But now I'm going through a point of my wife to where she thinks that she comes first, and that the only thing that matters is her marriage, and the Lord comes second. But fuck no. I told her I would leave your ass before I let you get to thinking like that. But see, that's the pride of Esau, man. And that's a test from the Lord. Am I going to choose my woman over the Lord? But hell no, if that bitch out of order, you got to leave her. I'm always choosing Yahweh. My woman can't lead me to salvation. So women receive salvation through a man by childbearing, right? It ain't going to be through, I ain't going to receive salvation through that broad, right? So if it leads to me having to leave my woman, that's so fucking be it, right? I choose the Lord any day of the week over anything and everything, right? So again, you got to figure out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Only you can walk down your path. Everybody got their own set of afflictions and their own path to walk. Let's continue. We're going to go right here. Again, still at 2nd Hedges, chapter 7, verse 9. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive the inheritance? See, so how can you receive the glory without going through your affliction, without being battle tested? Yahweh Shai received his glory by him being battle tested, by him going through his affliction. Right? And that's going to be the same thing with us. In order for us to receive that glory, we got to be battle tested, man. We got to go through our affliction. Right? We got to go through that walk. Right here. In the book of Acts, chapter 14, verse 22 in the NLT. It says, where they strengthen the believers, they encourage them to continue in their faith. That's us. We're encouraging all the brothers to continue in the faith. The ones who watches our channels, the one who's following us on these pages. Even as a brotherhood, we encourage each other to keep pushing in the faith. They encourage them to continue in the faith, reminding them that we must suffer many hardships to enter in the kingdom of heaven. So in order for us again to enter in the kingdom of heaven, we must go these hardships. We must go through these afflictions. We must go through that difficult path. Right here, John 3 and 5 KJV, Yahweh shall answer, verily, verily, I say unto you, except a man be born of water and of spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. So see, this is not a carnal thing. You know, when we get saved, and we get baptized, we're not getting baptized through that bathtub of dirty water. We get baptized through the spirit of Yahweh, coming into Yahweh, becoming a new creature, becoming a new man. You know, it starts within the flesh, right? You put off your old ways of thinking, your old ways of moving in the world. You're putting off that old man, right? Not that church and that baptism, but that baptism of the Yahweh. Let's go here. Right here, Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20, KJV. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity, the water of affliction, now water is catching hell, that affliction. It says the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thy eyes shall see teachers. You see that? And let's continue on that. Verse 21. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying that this is the way, walk ye in it. And when you turn to the right, and when you turn to the left, see, you hear that spirit, man. And when you're trying to find your purpose in life, you find your way, that spirit will lead you here. It's not your own self. It's not the ways of Esau, even the so-called white man. It's the Holy Spirit that is given to us through Yahweh Shai, which also allows us to have that light to be able to maneuver in our paths. Right? Right here, last one, out of NLT, Proverbs 29 to 18. When people do not accept divine guidance, they run wild. But whoever obeys the law is joyful. See, these 2/3, they did not accept the divine guidance of Yahweh Shai. They don't possess that light. They don't accept that light. And so now they're running wild like chickens with their heads cut off. They're running wild like a wild animal, like all these different nations that don't have the laws and commandments and judgments like how Shah does. The Lord said his law is perfect. He's given us these laws and these instructions and these judgments and everything, like I said, to teach us how not to be, how not to live, how to conduct ourselves, how to have order, how to have discipline. That's all through Yahweh Shah, man. And if it wasn't for Yahweh Shah, hey, our ass would be running wild just like these 2/3. Right? So that was the point. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Again, want to turn the face to east. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakodash. All praise and double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who brought out this truth many, many years ago and still to this day preaching this truth. Again, I truly hope this lesson was edifying. Shalom.